In continuation with the last day's class, in which we had an idea about the introduction of various kinds of common diseases that occurs to us depending upon the microorganisms. Today we are going to learn a very important topic of this chapter of human health and disease, which is called immunity. Now first one should understand what you mean by immunity. Now immunity is the, you can say, the technique by which the body makes the defense against the various kinds of diseases. So it is a property of the body to fight against the diseases. That is what is meant by this term called the immunity. Now immunity is further classified into two types, that is innate immunity and acquired immunity. Now innate means the kind of immunity which we are born with. Okay, now there are certain diseases to which the human beings are by birth immune to. Like for example, there is a disease which is called distemper. Now this disease is basically a disease of dog, but human beings are also mammals, dogs are also mammals, although they are non-primates and we are primates, but at least some characteristic of the mammalian characters of the dogs and the human beings are matching. So subsequently the disease which the dogs suffer from and the puppies die, that is called distemper, should actually be affecting the human beings also when the babies are born with, but it has been noticed that this disease never occurs in case of the human babies. So human beings are immune to this disease which is called distemper by birth. So that is an example of innate immunity, the immunity which we are born with respect to certain diseases. I gave you one example, that is the distemper disease. And acquired disease is the one which we acquire being subjected to the various kinds of microorganisms in our life. Okay, now this has been further classified according to whether we are encountering the microorganisms directly, then we call it to be the active acquired immunity, and sometimes we are deliberately taking the dosage of the germs in the weak or attenuated form, sometimes the killed organism, sometimes the live attenuated form, sometimes the toxic substance of that organism, in response to which the body prepares the antibody and we don't suffer from that disease. So that will be will be coming under your passive immunity. So the first one was your active acquired immunity, in which we are directly getting subjected to a pathogen. Pathogen means a disease causing microorganism, and then our body prepares antibody against it and it gets stored in our body. So the primary response is the preparation of antibody, and some of them get stored in the body in the form of memory cells, and finally when the same kind of organism we are again subjected to in our next near future, in that case already stored antibody of the primary infection now multiplies very rapidly, and it is easier for the second time to tackle the same kind of disease. So that is what is called acquired immunity. And acquired immunity which is active, so active acquired immunity, and passive acquired immunity in the form of vaccine. So vaccines, like all of us, when we were babies, when we were children, we had taken so many vaccines. We had taken BCG vaccine, we had taken polio vaccine, we had taken DPT vaccine, MMR vaccine. So all these vaccines which we have taken, we have actually taken the microorganisms life form or in life, but yes, of course they are not capable of producing any disease symptoms. But as we know, okay, before moving on to that, we must know two terms associated with immunity. One is called antigen, another one is called antibody. Antigen is any kind of foreign substance. It can be any microorganism, it can be dust particles, it can be pollen, any kind of chemical or biological agents which has the capacity to develop any kind of abnormality in the body of an organism, that will be called as your antigen. And in response to this antigen, there are certain cells in our body which will be preparing kind of immunoglobulins, which are nothing but a kind of protein, a macromolecule, which will be formed in response to the antigen, and they are very specific. That means for a particular antigen there will be a particular antibody, and as a result of it the body gets rid of the kind of infection we are subjected to, and these antibodies get stored in our body for a longer duration of time. Sometimes they are short lived, but most of the time they are stored in the form of memory cells, and when we are subjected to the same kind of infections or the diseases, then they help us to fight against those infections again happening in our life. Okay, now the body has a defense mechanism which we call it as our immunity. Now this defense mechanism can be in the form of various barriers. Okay, say for example there are cytological barriers, there are physical barriers, there are physiological barriers. Then there are certain barriers which we call it as your cytokine barriers. So all these togetherly actually help to prevent the entry of the microorganisms in our body. Let us for example discuss the example of the physical barrier. Now physical barriers are what? Physical barriers are, the best example is our skin. Okay, the skin has sebaceous gland, the skin has sweat glands. So they secrete kind of chemical substances which will be preventing the microorganisms to enter into our body. So they are, you can say, the defense you can say lines which will be preventing the entry of the microorganism into our body. They sometimes secrete lactic acid, so they make the pH different so that the organism does not find it suitable to enter. But still there are certain organisms which can enter in spite of these kinds of barriers. So after the physical barrier, then comes the role of the physiological barrier. Now what are these physiological barriers? There are certain cells in our body, like if you remember there are cells in our digestive tract, especially in the stomach, which secretes the HCl, gastric juice, and one component of the gastric juice is HCl. Now HCl is highly acidic, the pH is 1 to 2 pH, and that is quite powerful to kill most of the microorganisms, including the fungus and the bacteria. So that is a kind of, you can say, physiological barrier. Then you can think about the various kinds of secretions, like for example the tears from our eyes. The tears from our eyes, they have the enzyme which is called lysozyme. Okay, now they have the lytic property, so they cause the lysis of the bacterial cells. So that is also a kind of barrier in our body. Then the other barriers includes, besides the physical barrier and physiological barrier, next barrier includes your cellular barriers. Now what are these cellular barriers? In our body there is a connective tissue, liquid connective tissue, which is called blood, and blood has various formed elements in it. In that WBC is there. So WBC they have the property of fighting against the microorganisms entering into our body. Now which are these types of WBC? These includes the cells which are called as your macrophages. These includes the cells which are called neutrophils. Okay, so the macrophages, they have the capacity, they are quite big in size, and they show amoeboid movement, and by means of the process which is called diapedesis, it comes out of the capillaries, and if they find any kind of microorganisms, they engulf it by producing pseudopodia around it, and they kill them. Okay, neutrophils, they produce certain kinds of chemicals and they kill it. So this is called as your cellular barriers. And the last kind of barrier, which is also helping the body to prevent the entry of the microorganisms, or even if it has entered, then what next to be done, that is called as your cytokine barriers. Now cytokines are the, you can say, the cells in our body which will be producing a chemical substance which is called interferon in response to any viral infection. So when our body is subjected to any kind of viral infections, then those cells which are affected by the virus, they secrete a substance which is called interferons. Now what is the function of this interferons is that interferons will prevent the other fresh cells in the body which are not affected by the viral cells. so as to prevent the virus from undertaking the cellular materials of those uninfected cells and help them to increase their number. So you can say that these interferons are the one which are acting as a shield, okay, protective shield to the cells which are unaffected by, or which are non-affected by the viral cells. So already affected cells are producing these interferons, preventing the unaffected cells from getting further infected by the virus by the secretion of this substance which is called interferons. So that is about the various kinds of defense, you can say barriers of our body, which will be helping to improve or to make the defense property or defense quality of the body powerful. But in spite of all these things which are produced in our body, still sometimes the microorganisms become so powerful that the body is unable to tackle it. We will be coming to that portion later, but let us just not get carried away by that. So we had discussed what is immunity, the defense, various kinds of defense mechanisms of the body to fight against the various invading germs. Then we had discussed what do you mean by innate immunity. Then we have discussed about what do you mean by acquired immunity. Today let us discuss about this acquired immunities thing, that is I was talking about sometimes back about the primary response and the secondary response. Now body shows the primary response and secondary response by means of the chemical substance which I told you as antibodies. Now these antibodies are produced from special type of cells in our body. Now these are called the lymphocytes. Now the lymphocytes are a special type of WBC which have this property of acting as a defense mechanism to fight against the microorganisms. Now lymphocytes are of two types depending upon the place of its maturation. There is T lymphocyte and there is B lymphocyte. Okay, now T lymphocyte means the kind of lymphocytes which gets its maturation in the thymus gland. The thymus gland is present in our neck region, and this thymus gland secretes a hormone which is called thymosin. So in presence of this thymosin, which is a kind of polypeptide, that means it's a kind of protein based hormone which is secreted from the thymus gland. So in presence of that thymosin, the lymphocyte cells, when it gets its maturity, then those types of lymphocytes will be called as your T lymphocytes. Understood? Now there is various classification of T lymphocytes, like there are natural killer cells, then there are helper T cells, there are suppressor T cells. We will be discussing about them. But in general, first let us understand what are T lymphocytes. Those lymphocytes which gets its maturity in presence of thymosin hormone secreted by the thymus gland present in our neck region, those lymphocytes are called as your T lymphocytes. And what do you mean by B lymphocytes? Now B lymphocytes are the one which are getting its maturity in case of organ in most of the, you can say, vertebrates other than the mammals, especially the human beings, of course the mammals also. That is, there is an organ which is called bursa fabricius found in case of birds. It is a lymphoid tissue found in a place near the cloaca. Now cloaca is a common aperture for the urinary tract, for the digestive tract, and for the genital tract in case of birds, in case of reptiles, and also for the other vertebrates other than the mammals. Cloaca, near the cloaca there is a lymphoid tissue which is called bursa fabricius. So there the maturation of the lymphocyte cells takes place. So from there the name has come as your B lymphocytes. But in case of human beings, in case of mammals, we don't have this bursa fabricius lymphoid tissues. So where does the maturation of this B lymphocyte takes place in our body other than the thymus gland? Other than the thymus gland, there are other lymph glands, like say for example the Peyer's patches are there, then tonsils are there, appendix are there. So those places when the maturation of the lymphocytes takes place, then they are known as your B lymphocytes. So B lymphocytes along with that of the T lymphocytes helps to fight against the various kinds of invading germs by producing substance B lymphocyte specially, which is called as your antibody or immunoglobulins. Now when our body is subjected to a pathogen for the first time, this is called the primary encounter. So in response to that, the body starts preparing the antibody, and this is the primary response. It is quite slow and it takes time. But for the second time, the immune response acts at a very faster rate because there are various kinds of memory cells stored in our body. Now this immune response of our body is carried by the help of two types of cells. Just now we had discussed, that is your B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes. Now B lymphocytes, when they encounter any pathogen, they produce a huge amount of an army of antibodies to fight against the invading germs. Now this antibody molecule, which has been discussed in your NCERT, it is a generalized picture of the antibody, but the antibodies are further classified into 5 types. The B lymphocytes produces the antibodies, which are generally of 5 types. It's immunoglobulin, so we write it like this, that is capital I and small g. So there are 5 types. IgG, which is the that is your antibody which is found maximum in our body, IgG. Okay, then next is your IgA, then next is your IgM, and then is your IgD, and then is your IgE. Okay, so these are the various 5 types of antibodies which are produced by the B lymphocyte cells when they subject to any kind of pathogen in our body. Now this one is maximum. Perhaps you remember when we read about the reproductive system chapter, in that I have told you that the developing embryo receives some maternal antibodies from the mother by means of placenta. So this is this IgG which developing embryo receives from the mother. Another one also is received from the mother, that is called as your IgA in the form of colostrum. The first few days milk which is provided, a yellow color liquid, it's not a composition of a milk, it is very rich in the antibodies, which is your IgA, and as a result of this IgG and IgA, the small baby gets a passive immunity against the various kinds of microbes in the surroundings, because it was well protected inside the mother's body. So when it is subjected to the environment, it is encountering various kinds of microorganisms. So to combat those microorganisms, this IgG and IgA which it receives from the mother helps to tackle the effect of the microorganisms for the initial developing days of the baby. Okay, so I was talking about this antibody molecule. You can see here this antibody molecule looks like that of Y. This is basically a structure of IgG. It's not mentioned in your book, but this is the structure of IgG. So similarly, the other molecules have their own diagrams. This is the diagrammatic representation, but as you have this only one molecule, so you have to practice this diagram only. Here you can see that there are 2 small chains, and this one is called as your N-terminal because it is a protein, it's a polypeptide chain. So protein has one amino end and one your carboxylic end, isn't it? So the amino end is represented by the N end, capital N end, and the carboxyl end is represented by the C end. Understood? All right. Now the next thing is that this is a small amino acid chain, and this one is a big amino acid chain. Now the small amino acid chain is known as your light chain, and the long chain is known as your heavy chain, and both these chains are associated by means of the disulfide bonding between them, and also they have some other bonding, hydrogen bonding, van der Waals force of attraction between them. So all these things result into the formation of this kind of structure, this Y-shaped structure, and this end, this portion which I have drawn with green and with some depressions in it, this portion, this is a variable portion. and this red portion which I have drawn here, this is a constant portion. So a light chain has two portions, a variable portion and a constant portion. Similarly, the heavy chain has also two portions. This blue color one, which is at the top having the depressions, that is the variable portions, and the one which is drawn with black, that is a constant portion. Now what is the purpose of this variable portion and that of the constant portion is that it is this variable portion to which any antigen will be coming and binding with it. So the reaction which will be forming, or the binding site of the antigen with that of the antibody, is this variable region between the light chain and the heavy chain. So this region is known as your paratop. This region of this antibody molecule is known as paratop, and the portion of the antigen which will be having the subsequent site to which it will be coming and binding with that of the antibody, that is called as your epitope. Okay, so epitope and paratop. So this is how this molecule is all about, and the various kinds of sites, and which one is a variable end, which one is a constant end, what is epitope, what is paratop, and thus you have to practice this one for your examination purpose. And one more thing you have to learn is that any kind of substance or a molecule can only be called as that of your antigen when it has a molecular weight of more than 8000 Dalton. If a molecule is more than 8000, at least between 8000 to more than 8000 Dalton, then only it will be having the property of getting any kind of problematic things within the body, and in response to that the antibody molecule will be produced. If it is less than that, then the antibody molecules are not produced. So this one is produced by the that is your B lymphocytes. The antibodies are produced in response to the antigens entering into our body, and the B lymphocytes are the one which will be producing these antibodies. So they are associated with a kind of defense which is called as humoral immune response, in response to any kind of antigen entering into our body. When the B lymphocytes are associated with the production of antibody, they are coming under the humoral defense response. And the other one is cell mediated immunity. Okay, that is humoral immunity, and this one is your cell mediated immunity. Now what is the cell mediated immunity? Cell mediated immunity is tackled by the T lymphocytes. Now the T lymphocytes are attacked they function in a different manner. They do not produce the antibodies. They attack directly the antigens entering into our body by various methods. Like sometimes they act as immunosuppressants. Now immunosuppressants against what? Sometimes you if the organism's body cells they become cancerous, then the T lymphocytes, the suppressor T lymphocytes will suppress the body's immune system, as a result of which the cancerous cells will not be able to proliferate and attack the other healthy cells of the body. So that way they are helping the body to combat the spreading of cancer into the various body parts. Helper T cells. There are helper T cells. What is the function of those helper T cells? They themselves here are not doing anything. They are acting as a helpers for the B lymphocytes. When the second time the same pathogen enters, first time primary response will be there, and in response to that some memory cells will be there stored in the blood. But the next time when the secondary infection will take, the second time the same infection will take place, now the helper T cells will guide the B lymphocyte cells to increase their number enormously. So here you see the T lymphocytes are themselves not doing anything, but they are helping the B lymphocytes to increase their number, to multiply themselves enormously. So that is also the role of T lymphocytes. So that is also cell mediated immunity. And the other one is called as your natural killer cells. Natural killer cells, what do this type of T lymphocytes do is that they produce certain kind of chemicals like agglutinin, precipitin, Okay, opsonin they produce. Now what are these kinds of chemicals? Some of them produce perforin, which will be creating perforation in the walls of the bacterial cell or that of the fungal cell. So if the walls are damaged, definitely that will result into the plasmolysis, and that will result in the death of the cells. Sometimes they act as agglutinin. Agglutinin means what? They will be binding with each other. They will be producing certain chemical substances which will result into the binding of the microorganism, and hence hindering their movement within the body. So their movement is restricted. They cannot go further and affect the other cells of our body. Then there are certain chemicals, opsonin. What are these opsonin? They are a kind of substance which are formed as a coating on the surface of the that is your antigens, and as a result of it they can be easily searched by that of your macrophages or that of the other engulfing cells, and they can be eaten up directly. So these way there are various kinds of chemical substances secreted by the natural killer cells, T cells, which will be helping to get rid of the antigens, that is the pathogens entering into our body, and this type of immunity is known as your cell mediated immunity. And the one which is done by the B lymphocytes by the secretion of the antibody in response to antigen, that is called the humoral immunity. So this is all about the immunity and various that is your types of antibodies produced in response to the antigens entering into our body. These two are the maternal antibodies which I have told you. Then this one is produced in response to any kind of allergic response, and then this one is having the large molecular weight compared to that of the other types of antibodies. So there are different types of antibodies depending upon either their molecular weight or either by their functions or either by specifically by the antigen to which they are produced to. So that's all for today's class of the immunity, the types of immunity, cell mediated immunity and humoral immunity. I hope you have understood, and also you will be going through this topic again and again along with this diagram. This is very important from this chapter. Thank you.